What up, yo? I'm Frank 5B for the rap scene. Only Built for Cuban Links turns 30 years old. Let's get into it. Only Built for Cuban Links is the debut solo album from top tier MC and Wu-Tang Clan general Raekwon the Chef, also known as Shala Raekwon. This album is monumental, groundbreaking, influential, pivotal, and important, impactful. It was released on August 1st, 1995, and it was the third solo effort from a Wu-Tang Clan member, following Method Man's 1994 To Cal and Old Dirty Bastard's 1995 return to the 36 Chambers, the Dirty Version. But Only Built for Cuban Links is probably the most legendary Wu-Tang album ever. Cuban Links affected hip-hop like no other project ever has, and it was a deep dive into the lore and aesthetic of the Wu-Tang Clan as we knew it to that point. But it was a pivotal moment in the game, which is nuts because 1995 was a crazy year for hip-hop. We got so many classic albums, it's ridiculous. 95 gave us Mobb Deep's The Infamous, GZA's Liquid Swords, AZ Do or Die, The Roots Do You Want More, Dog Pound, Dog Food, Group Home, Living Proof, The Company Flow Joint, Fun Crusher Plus, Tupac's Me Against the World, Goody Mob, Soul Food, Farside, Lab Cabin, California, DJ Quick, Safe and Sound, ODB again dropped that year with Return to the 36 Chambers. Smith and Wesson had The Shine In, G-Rap had 456, AC Alone, All Balls Don't Bounce. All of these are seminal albums by hollowed MCs and crews in their own respective rights, and that's not even half of the list of great releases that year. And above them all stands Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links. The project was unique as, until that time, nobody had seen a debut album from an artist, not just to feature, but highlight another MC in the title. Clanmate Ghostface Killah was straight up body 12 of those 18 listed tracks. He also had a solo effort on Wisdom Body and even led the narration on some of the most memorable skits in hip-hop history. Every other Wu member except ODB would appear on the album, including Capadonna, but the classic track Verbal Intercourse would feature the only non-Wu member on the album, Nas, who arguably delivered the best verse of his storied career. You can hate that, just listen to it again before you argue it. The album took the nickname The Purple Tape due to audio cassette tapes coming in a clear purple casing. Ray said, "I wanted to portray an image that if I was selling crack or dimes in the street, you would recognize these dimes from other niggas' dimes." To my knowledge, no other hip-hop project is described by its physical color. And don't tell me the Black Album, because that's the name of the album and you could assume that it's physically black by design, if not default. I have the album on vinyl and it would have been dope if it was purple too, but nah. I don't know how many times I spun that record and it's so scratched up. It makes me sad, but still most of it plays. I want to say the worst skips are on Knuckleheads and Spot Rushers. I don't know, I haven't played it in a while. I got the Purple Tape right here, the collector's edition. It comes in this dope ass case. It says the Purple Tape right here. We got the Purple Tape itself. Boom, straight up and down. I don't think I've ever played it. I actually do have a cassette player. We got a pen. I had to put this pen in here because when I got it, it's supposed to come with a sticker, but I replaced the sticker with this pen. I don't know what happened to the sticker, but it's out of here. So I bought this pen from Amoeba. So, just to try and make it more of a set. It also comes with this poster right here. And this is the cover, I believe. Dope as hell. Boom. Only Built for Cuban Links. Got that. This is a real gem, man. I'm glad I got this. It's got a set of the original liner notes. I guess it's not original because this side is blank and it ain't got no credits. But yeah, it's got that dope ass mirror. I remember I used to have that hanging on the wall. But all the liner notes are contained right here in this book. And it's also got things, like interviews with them about the making of it and shit. And it's pretty dope, so definitely a gem in my collection. The first record I heard from Cuban Links was Heaven and Hell. Of course, that wasn't made for the album, but for the movie Fresh that dropped about a year earlier. We were all still rocking To Cal and Return to 36 at that time, and they were all just getting started. Thanks to my brother who always had his ear to these hip-hop streets, we were able to hear Glaciers of Ice around that same time, and we were blown away by the rawness and just how Wu was taking over. That rail by Blue Raspberry during the chorus still gets me amped up. I had it on CD and it would be in my backpack every single day going to high school. I can still recite most of the album and definitely wanted more Wu. This was before Wu-Tang Forever and it was all just so very new still. Only Built for Cuban Links is important to me for being so ahead of its time. It's a perfect album that sounds like it could come out next week and sound just as innovative and different and just as dope. It also got me more into Ghost. At that time, I was a RZA guy, a RZA and a GZA guy, and Matt the most. But Cuban Links made me hear Ghost more, and he was shining on the album. Then Iron Man came out, and I became a Ghostface guy. He's been a staple in my erratic ass top 5 ever since Supreme Clientele dropped. And he's the only Wu member to ever make an appearance in my top 5. And I feel like he earned it, starting with his breakout role when Ray threw him the live on this album. There are not many albums that can hold up to this joint. Honestly, if you consider yourself a hip hop fan, enthusiast, hobbyist, personality, whatever you choose to consider yourself as in the scope of hip hop, you should have heard this album, literally, or have it on your list for consumption of study, because it's like a perfect due to knowledge album, and sadly, there won't be another that comes close to it. So that's even more reason to tune in. The entire project is outstanding, but a few standouts would be Can It Be Also Simple Remix, Rainy Days, Verbal Intercourse, of course, and both posse cuts, which are Guillotine or Swords and Wu Gambino's. The whole album is Wu-Tang deep cuts, and that's kind of what makes it so remarkable. Only Built for Cuban Links almost defines the entire era of the Wu-Tang Clan, which if you didn't know, is forever. The order of the top 3 most Wu-Tang of all Wu-Tang albums goes like this: Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang Forever, and Only Built for Cuban Links. Fight me in the comments. Thanks for watching, y'all. Please like and subscribe. I'm Frank 5D. Positive energy activates constant elevation.